Hey there, my fellow lifelong learners. Have you ever wished you could just learn faster? Whether it's picking up a new language like English, mastering a new skill, or just remembering what you read, the truth is, you can speed up your learning. Not with magic, not with shortcuts, but with smarter, intentional strategies that actually work. Today, I want to share some of my favorite ways to learn anything faster. And I don't just mean faster in speed, but deeper, more effectively, with better retention, so that what you learn today actually sticks tomorrow. Alright, ready? Let's dive in. Let's start with a little story. A few years ago, I was trying to learn French. I thought I was doing everything right, watching videos, downloading apps, listening to music, but after 6 months, I still couldn't hold a basic conversation. I was frustrated, even embarrassed. I started questioning myself. Maybe I'm just not good at languages? Maybe I'm too old to learn? But then something changed. I stopped focusing on what I was learning and started paying attention to how I was learning. That shift changed everything. So whether you're learning English, guitar, business skills, or anything else, this video is for you. Let's talk about the principles that will help you learn smarter, deeper, and faster. Lesson 1. Learn by doing, not just watching. Let's start with a quick question. Have you ever spent hours watching English tutorials on YouTube, but when someone asks you a question in English, your mind goes blank? Yeah, you're not alone. It's something so many of us fall into. We become professional consumers of information. We watch, we listen, we read, but we don't actually do. And here's the truth. Passive learning feels productive, but it's not where real growth happens. Think about it like this. If you wanted to learn how to swim, would you just watch swimming videos for a month and expect to jump into a pool and glide like a dolphin? Of course not. You have to get in the water. You have to feel the resistance, splash around awkwardly, maybe choke on water a little bit. That's how your body and brain truly learn. So why doing is so powerful? When you engage actively, your brain forms deeper neural connections, strengthens memory through action, builds muscle memory even in language. Learns from mistakes, which are actually awesome. Let's take English as an example. You could spend 30 minutes watching a video about phrasal verbs, and that's fine. But if you spend 5 minutes trying to use them in your own sentences, your brain works 10x harder and remembers 10x more. Say it out loud, write it down, use it in a real conversation. That's where the magic happens. Marco always wanted to play guitar. He spent months watching tutorials, following guitarists on Instagram, and buying online courses. But every time I asked, "Have you played anything yet?" he'd say, "Not yet, I'm just learning the theory first." Here's the thing, he knew so much about music, but couldn't play a single song. Then one day, I challenged him, "Play just one chord today, that's it." He struggled. His fingers hurt. It sounded terrible. But he did it. Fast forward a few weeks, he was practicing daily, messy at first. But now, he's actually playing songs he used to only listen to. He finally stopped watching and started doing. Learning is a messy, beautiful, hands-on thing. Don't wait until you feel ready. You get ready by starting. Here are some concrete ways to turn passive learning into active engagement, no matter what you're studying. If you're learning English, after watching a lesson, speak out loud. Repeat what you learned. Write a 3-sentence story using the new grammar point. Record yourself talking about your day in English, even if you feel silly. If you're reading a book, pause after each chapter. Summarize it in your own words. Highlight and then explain what you learned to a friend or to yourself. If you're learning a creative skill, instead of watching 5 painting tutorials, follow one and actually paint. Make mistakes. Reflect on them. That's real learning. If you're learning coding or tech, don't just copy code. Tweak it, experiment, break it, rebuild it. Build something small. It's better than watching hours of lectures. Here's a simple framework I love. Watch or listen to a small piece of content, 5 to 10 minutes. Pause. Do something with it. Say it out loud. Write about it. Use it in context. Then come back for more. This slows you down, but helps you learn faster. Because the learning sticks. Learning is not a spectator sport. It's a hands-on, messy, trial-and-error journey. And the beautiful thing is, when you do the thing, even just a little bit, you feel a shift. Your confidence grows. Your understanding deepens. You start becoming the person who actually does the thing, not just dreams about it. So if you're watching this video to learn how to learn faster, take what you've just heard and do something with it. Comment below with one sentence in English using a new word. Record yourself talking about what you learned today. Explain this lesson to a friend. Start small. Start messy. Start now, because doing beats watching every time. Lesson 2. Break it down with microlearning. Our brains love small wins. Big goals like become fluent in English or learn coding feel huge and overwhelming. But if you break that goal into tiny chunks, you create a path your brain can actually follow. So instead of saying, I'm going to study English for 2 hours today, say, I'll learn 5 new words in 10 minutes. This is called microlearning, and it works like magic. When you finish one tiny task, you feel a little dopamine hit. Your brain's way of saying, hey, good job. That feeling builds momentum, and suddenly, learning becomes addictive. Okay, real talk. Have you ever opened a textbook or started a course and thought, wow, this is way too much. Where do I even begin? Yep, that overwhelmed feeling, that's a learning killer. When something feels too big, our brains panic. It's like standing at the bottom of a huge mountain and thinking, I'll never get to the top. And that's when procrastination kicks in. We freeze, we scroll, we tell ourselves, maybe tomorrow. But here's the shift. You don't climb a mountain all at once. You take one step at a time. So let's talk about how breaking things into small, manageable chunks can completely change the way you learn. Our brains love patterns. They love manageable information. When we break things down, we reduce overwhelm, build momentum, feel a sense of progress, remember things more easily. Think of it like eating a chocolate bar. You don't stuff the whole thing in your mouth. You take small bites, right? Same with learning. Lena wanted to improve her English, but grammar? Oh, it terrified her. Tenses, conditionals, articles, it felt like a massive storm of rules, so she avoided it for months. But one day, she tried something different. Instead of trying to master grammar, she picked just one topic, the present simple tense. She spent one day only learning how to use it with I and you. The next day, she practiced it with he and she. Then she added question forms. She broke it down into tiny daily steps. 1 week later, she wasn't just learning grammar, she was using it with confidence. And guess what? That confidence, it snowballed into more motivation. Let's say you want to learn English or any new skill. Here's how to chunk it down. Step 1. Pick one micro skill. Instead of saying, I want to improve my English, get specific. I want to get better at listening. I want to use 5 new idioms in a sentence. I want to practice the past tense with real-life stories. Each one is focused and actionable. Step 2. Set a tiny time frame. Tell yourself, I'll focus on this for 10 minutes today. Just 10 minutes, that's it. You're not trying to master the whole language today. Step 3. Do one small task examples. Watch one short video on the topic. Write 3 sentences using the new word or structure. Read 1 paragraph and underline verbs. Record a 30-second voice note using new phrases. The smaller, the better. Let's break it down by different learning goals. If you're learning English vocabulary, don't learn 50 words in one day. Pick 3 words a day and use them in 3 different contexts. X. Curious. I'm a curious learner. She looked the book with curious eyes. Curiosity keeps me growing. If you're reading in English, don't read 10 pages at once. Read 1 paragraph. Highlight new words. Summarize it in your own words. If you're practicing listening, watch one short clip, like 2 to 3 minutes. Repeat what you hear. Write down any interesting phrases. If you're practicing speaking, choose one question like "What did you do yesterday?" Record yourself answering. Listen, improve, try again. Tiny wins equals big momentum. Every small chunk completed is a tiny win. And those wins, they make you feel good. They tell your brain, hey, I'm making progress. That feeling creates motivation. And motivation leads to more learning. It's the beautiful cycle of progress. You don't need to learn everything in 1 week. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to move forward one small chunk at a time. Progress isn't about how fast you go. It's about not stopping. Right now, yes, right now, think about the one thing you want to learn. Now ask yourself, how can I make this 10x smaller? Then go do that tiny version. That's how you start. That's how you grow. Even a mountain gets climbed one step at a time, and you're already on the path. Use a timer. Set 10 minutes for one small goal. Focus only on that. No distractions. Lesson 3. Use spaced repetition. Here's something your brain loves. Repetition, but not all at once. Have you ever crammed for a test the night before and then forgotten everything the next week? That's because cramming doesn't help long-term memory. What does? Spaced repetition. It's a technique where you review information at increasing intervals over time. It could be 1 day, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. Each time you review, your brain strengthens the memory. Apps like Anki or even physical flashcards can help. But more importantly, don't just learn something once. Revisit it, just a little bit, over time. For example, Day 1, learn 5 English idioms. Day 2, review them, plus learn 5 new ones. Day 5, review all 10. Day 10, use them in a sentence. Boom, now it's in your long-term memory. Alright, let's be honest again. Have you ever learned a new word or concept, felt proud for remembering it, and then completely forgot it a week later? Yeah, we've all been there. It's not because you're not smart. It's because your brain needs reminders. Strategic reminders. That's where today's magic trick comes in. Spaced repetition. Why we forget, and what to do about it. There's this thing called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It basically shows how fast we forget new information. Right after you learn something, your memory of it starts dropping. Fast. But here's the cool part. Every time you review it, especially just before you forget it, you strengthen that memory. That's what spaced repetition is all about. Reviewing the right info at the right time, so you don't just learn it, you remember it long term. Kevin's dream was to speak English fluently, but he kept running into the same wall. He'd learn 20 new words, and by the next week, he'd remember maybe 5 of them. So he started using spaced repetition. Not anything fancy, just a simple flashcard app with smart reminders built in. Every day he'd review words he learned the day before. A few older words the app brought back based on when he might forget them. He wasn't studying for hours, maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day. But after a few months, he knew over 1,000 words, and he could use them in conversation. It wasn't magic, it was science and consistency. Think of your memory like a garden. Every new word is a seed. If you don't water it, it dies. But if you water it just enough, at the right times, it grows deep roots. Here's a simple timeline for review. First review, right after you learn it. Second review, the next day. Third review, 2 to 3 days later. Fourth review, 1 week later. Fifth review, 2 weeks later. Every review makes the memory stronger, and eventually, you don't even need to review, it just sticks. You don't have to do this alone. There are amazing tools that do the spacing for you. Flashcard apps, like Anki or Quizlet. These apps show you cards right before you're about to forget. Smart, right? You can use them to review new vocabulary, grammar rules, sentence structures, phrases from movies or books, your own spaced review system. Not into apps? No worries, you can use a notebook or digital doc. Day 1, learn new material. Day 2, review. Day 4, review again. Day 7, quick quiz. Day 14, final check. That's it. No stress, just spaced reminders. Let's get practical. This isn't just for English vocab. Use spaced repetition for phrases you want to use in conversation. Grammar patterns like used to or present perfect. Conversation scripts, e.g., how to order food, introduce yourself. Listening sentences that you want to repeat until fluent. Key takeaways from any learning material. Basically, anything you want to remember long term, use spaced repetition to lock it in. Smart review tips to level up even more. 1. Don't just reread. Recall. When reviewing, test yourself. Don't just read the word. Try to say it, use it, or write it in a sentence before you flip the card. This active recall makes the memory way stronger. 2. Mix it up. Mix old material with new material. This variety helps your brain connect ideas and remember better. 3. Make it fun. Use real-life content, learn words from songs, shows, or things you actually enjoy. Review doesn't have to be boring. Small step, big growth. You don't need to spend hours memorizing. You just need to review a little at the right time. That's the secret to learning faster, deeper, and forever. So here's your challenge. Pick 5 things you've learned recently and create a review plan for them today. Use an app, a notebook, sticky notes, whatever works for you. Just don't let that knowledge fade away. You earned it. Lesson 4. Mix things up. Interleaving. This one's a little surprising. If you do one thing over and over again, you actually learn slower. Let me explain. Let's say you're learning English vocabulary. You study all the fruits. Apple, banana, orange, etc. Then all the colors. Then all the animals. Sounds organized, right? But it turns out if you mix different categories together, your brain learns better. It has to work harder to recall the right word in the right moment, just like in real life. Okay, let's start with something kinda surprising. The best way to really learn something? Teach it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. But I'm not a teacher. I just started learning myself. I don't know enough to teach anyone else. Totally get it. But let me tell you something powerful. You don't have to be an expert to teach. You just have to be a little bit ahead, or even just actively learning. Why teaching helps you learn faster? Let's break it down. When you teach something, a few awesome things happen. 1. You organize your thoughts. You're forced to explain things clearly. That makes you understand them better. 2. You notice what you don't understand. When you try to explain a concept, you quickly find the gaps in your own knowledge. That's gold. Now you know exactly what to go back and study. 3. You build confidence. Sharing what you know, even in small ways, makes you feel more capable, more engaged, more excited to learn. And here's the coolest part. You don't need a classroom. You can teach just by sharing what you've learned. Meet May. She's from Taiwan and started learning English just a year ago. She struggled a lot at first, especially with confidence. She felt shy, scared of making mistakes, and thought she couldn't speak until she was perfect. Then something shifted. She started posting short Instagram stories, just 30-second clips of her talking about what she learned that day. A new word she loved, a grammar rule she was confused about, a phrase she heard in a TV show. At first, barely anyone watched, but she kept going, and slowly, her speaking improved because she was practicing daily. Her confidence grew because she was showing up, mistakes and all. She built a little community of learners cheering her on. Now, May teaches beginner English tips on YouTube. She's not a native speaker, she's not perfect, but she's real. And because she teaches what she's learning, she's growing faster than ever. How you can teach what you learn, right now. Teaching doesn't have to mean standing in front of a class. Here are simple, fun ways to start. 1. Explain to yourself. This is called the Feynman technique. Take something you just learned and try to explain it in super simple language, like you're teaching a 10-year-old. Can you do it clearly? Great. If not, go back, review, and try again. 2. Teach a friend. Have a language buddy or a family member who's curious about what you're learning? Try explaining a word, a rule, or a story to them, even if they don't understand the language. The act of explaining helps you learn. 3. Journal it out. Write a daily journal entry where you explain what you learned today, why it matters. One thing that still confuses you. This is like a mini lesson to your future self. 4. Share on social media. Post a short video or post about something new you learned. It can be simple. Today I learned how to use the word although. Here's an example. You'll be amazed how much deeper it sticks when you share it. 5. Pretend you're teaching a class. Seriously, try this. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Pretend you're the teacher. Talk to your wall, your cat, your plant, whatever works. Walk through a concept you learned. It might feel silly, but your brain loves this kind of practice. It turns passive learning into active mastery. Here's something powerful most people don't think about. When you teach, even in small ways, you start seeing yourself differently. You're no longer just a learner. You become a communicator, a contributor, someone who has something valuable to say. That identity shift, it's massive. It builds your confidence, your courage, and it keeps you coming back to learn more. Because you know you're not just collecting information, you're turning it into impact. Your tiny challenge: teach one thing today. Pick one small thing you learned today. A word, a tip, a phrase, a story. Now share it. You can explain it in your journal. You can tell it to a friend. You can post it online. You can even just say it out loud to yourself. But don't keep it inside. When you teach, you learn twice. And every time you share, even if no one's watching, you're becoming stronger, smarter, and more fluent. That's lesson 4, my friend. What do you think? Ready to wrap things up with lesson 5, create an immersive environment next? Lesson 5, cut out distractions. I know. This one's tough. Learning faster isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you avoid. And the biggest enemy of learning is distraction. We all do it. Check your phone in the middle of studying, scroll while listening to a podcast, watch videos while taking notes. But your brain needs deep focus to create lasting memories. So try this. Set a timer for 25 minutes, Pomodoro technique. Turn off all notifications, focus on just one task. Then take a 5-minute break. That's it. This focused, distraction-free block is a superpower. It helps you absorb more in 25 minutes than in 2 hours of half-focused work. Lesson 6. Make it personal. Want to remember more of what you learn? Make it meaningful. Make it yours. Instead of memorizing random sentences, turn learning into something you care about. Learn English by writing about your life. Practice vocabulary by talking about your favorite movie. Learn history by connecting it to your own country's story. The more emotional connection you create, the faster your brain grabs onto that knowledge. Journal in English about your day. Use new words. Make mistakes. That's how real learning happens. So if there's one thing I want you to take away today, it's this. You don't have to be naturally smart to learn fast. You just need better tools, and you've got them now. Learn actively. Use small chunks, repeat smartly, mix it up, focus deeply, make it meaningful. Whether you're learning English, guitar, math, or anything else, you've got this. Start small, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Because learning faster isn't about rushing, it's about building a better, deeper connection with what you love.